Okay, I hope that you watched my video where I made this card for my cousin Serena. I wanted to make another video to show that if you don't want to do all of these extra steps, there's still a way to capture the beauty of this card in a simpler design. And this is my second design that I came up with. So this will not do a lot of the techniques that I showed in this one, but please take a moment and watch this video because it goes over some really neat things to learn. Okay, for this card, the materials are similar to what I had before, but I have a card base of 8.5 by 5.5. I have a white panel, which is 5 by 3 3/4. I have a panel of watercolor smooth Bristol paper, which is 5 inches by 2. And I have a piece of copy paper, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. The stamp set, again, is the color Layering Bengal Tigers with dies. And I'm also using the Stampin Up Something to Celebrate, Versafine Onyx Black, Memento Tangelo, Cottage Ivy, and Bamboo Leaves. I'm also going to be using the Spellbinders A2 Matting Basics B, just to get this one. So the materials are a little bit fewer, and the design is a little simpler, but it's still a beautiful card. Let me clear this away and I'll show you how to assemble this card. The first step, I'm going to cut the window into the front of the card. I have the card base and the white panel, which is 5 by 3 3/4. I'm using the magnetic platform, but if you don't have that, you can also do this die cutting with your multi-purpose platform. Just you'll have to be careful that the material doesn't move around once you go to the big shot. So you may need to tape it down with temporarily with a repositionable tape or a post-it note. So I'm trying really careful to get it. I know it's difficult to see because this is white on white, and I'm having a trouble myself, and I'm sitting right here in front of it. So once I have it straight, I'm bringing in the die cut and also going to make that a little bit centered. And as you see, the magnetic platform holds it firmly in place. So I think that's about centered. Okay, and I'm running my cutting plate on through. Okay, and flip it over. To cut down on the warping, always alternate which sides you cut on. And there we are, window. Very easy. Since I have the big shot out, I'm going to go ahead and do the die cutting of the little guy. The flowers, the grass and the little cub. So the die cuts I haven't taken them apart, I just leave them this way. So I'm going to end up with a little bit more cutting than I really want the top of the tiger, but I don't want to do the tiger for this simpler design. So I'm going to line it up as close as I can, and also I'm going to cut out the other piece, which is the smaller leaf, smaller grass. Okay, and this needs to be on one now, and just run it through. And there are all the die cuts. Save this, do not throw it away. So let me clear this out of the way and we'll move on to the next step. I'm bringing in my Misty tool, and I'm now going to work on getting all the little die cuts done. So I flipped this negative image upside down, and I'm holding it in place with the magnet because I do not want it to move. And I'm going to take the outline for the little kitten and plop him in the center of the die cut. So I'm using the negative space to help me line up the stamping. And the same thing for the large butterfly. It sticks to my fingers, so it takes me a few minutes. Patience. Okay. This needs to not be right there. Okay. I'm going to do the grass bit separately, so I don't need to do that. But if I were going to do those, I would just do the same thing for those. Okay, I think that's good. It seems like it's a lot of effort, but you are going to save a lot of time if you spend a little time here. Okay, now transfer them to the door, and you just pop the die cuts right back into the cutouts, just like puzzles. And the butterflies go back in. And the smaller butterfly. Okay, and you make sure that this hasn't moved. And take the Versafine and ink up and stamp up. I may need to move this magnet. Carefully make sure it didn't move. The magnet was keeping me from getting a good impression when I did my first card, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to need to move it and hope that I get it good the first time. Okay. And stick my finger under there and stop it. Yes, yes, yes. Everything's fine. So here's the little kitty. Perfectly stamped. No hassling trying to get it lined up. So I'll clean this off real quick. Now I'm moving these two because I'm not going to need this again. And I'm going to do the same thing for the inside. So I'm putting the space back, and now I can use the magnet because I'm only getting the kitty. And I'm going to put the kitty back in for a moment to use him to help me line it up, because I really don't want this part to be off. And you just put him in place where the outline needs to be. This is pretty forgiving. All of these color layering stamps are, but you really want to spend a little effort and line it up well, because if you do it correctly, it's really beautiful. Okay, and make sure he didn't move. Now this time I'm taking the orange, the Tangelo, and there he is. Okay, now I'm going to clean this stamp real quick because I want to now work on the inside. So I'll move all these temporarily. Fingers crossed I don't lose them. Now I'm getting the large kitty. And again, the outline for the small kitty. Now I'm taking the copy paper. This is the copy paper. Oh, I forgot this step. Every single time I made this card, I forgot this step. 1 second. You need your window back. And line up the edges of the copy paper. It will fit exactly because this is the same dimensions as the front of the card. And take a pencil and carefully trace a line where the window goes. You don't have to be accurate, but you don't want to go over your cardstock. So, all right, set that back aside. Now I know where the window is going to be. So I line up my stamp so that the kitty peeks through and you can see him from the outside of the card. So I also want to be able to see the little kitten. So this is just a little tool to help you line it up. Make sure he's straight. Okay, transfer. Ink this. This, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to get where you want it to be. And don't throw this away. Hold it. Now take the card base, and this is the front of the card. This is the inside. So you want to have it this way and put it in place. And now do a good inking up of the stamps. And if you're not satisfied with it, just ink it again. That's the beautiful part about using the MISTI. And I think that's good, just like that. Okay, I'll clean this real quick. This is a rag which is soaked in my DIY stamp cleaner. You can find the video on my channel for how to make this. Save a few pennies in this card making business. Now set this aside and bring back your guide, and you're going to use this to help you line up the shadows. So move this aside. Okay. Transfer to the door. And bring in your card base again. Make sure it's in the corner because it won't line up otherwise. And again with the Tangelo. There we go. He's a little bit off, sad face, but I want the mother tiger to be just a little bit darker, so I'll give her another pass through. There. Okay, let's set this aside to dry for a bit. Clean this off. Now I'm going to quickly stamp the grass. I have already put those stamps on blocks. And for that I need the 2 shades of green. It's darker green. The darker green is what I'm going to do for the cutouts. Now again, we want to take the card front and our window, and line it up. Okay, that's about right. And just go ahead and stamp right in the lower corner with the grass again. Hold it so it doesn't move, because I want it to be overlapping to the card base just a little bit. I thought that would be a little bit more interesting. Okay. Now the rest of the card is pretty simple assembly, so I'm going to let the music play and put the card together. Okay, that's the card. I know you saw I made a little boo-boo here. I glued this butterfly down to the card base and it should have been on the panel, but I used my knife and I was able to get it up. Just a little teeny tear on the inside of the card, I think. Just a little divot, but it's fine. No one will ever know. Well, you'll know because you watch my videos. Okay, this card design, let me bring the other one back in so you can see. This card design is very quick to go together. If you don't have the die cuts, of course, you could cut out this little guy all by himself. And it's very easy once you see the trick for lining up the two-step stamps. There are many of them available through different companies, so if you see one in the store and you think, oh, it's too difficult, it really isn't. Take a leap. Go ahead and buy it and take it home and keep playing with it and experimenting. You'll really like the results. I'd like to thank everyone for their comments and help that they're giving me, and I'd really like to thank my brother David for the music that he's given me for my channel. Please check out his channel below. There's a link for listening to more of his music. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and pass the word and get more subscribers for me. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care.